Today we're talking about the brand new Sigma 28 to 45 millimeter f1.8. Now, in case you missed it, Sigma just announced a brand new groundbreaking lens, and I know that word gets used around a lot on YouTube, but seriously, this is a groundbreaking lens. This lens is, in my opinion, the successor to the widely popular 18 to 35 f1.8, but for a full frame system. And so I am super pumped to share my thoughts on this lens with you all. But before I do want to give the quick disclaimer that Sigma did send me this lens, but as always, no money exchange hands, and I get to say whatever I want. And so you are going to get my full and honest opinion. I know that's a thing on the internet lately where you can't trust YouTubers. When I tell you I'm giving you everything I can about this lens, both the positive and the negative, trust me when I say that you're getting a full and honest review. So with that, let's go ahead and break down what I think about this lens, starting first with the overall image quality. Now, again, like I said before, this is a 28mm to 45mm zoom lens with a constant f1.8 aperture. The biggest selling point for this lens is the fact that all of these kind of prime focal lengths, these prime lenses, are in one. Now with that, you do get a really good minimum focusing distance, and mix that minimum focusing distance with that super fast f1.8 aperture, you're gonna get some good subject isolation and bokeh. Now this lens is equipped with Sigma's HLA autofocus system, and so you can trust that you're gonna have really good, reliable, fast autofocus, and it does also handle focus breathing really well. Now, just like you expect from Sigma, you are gonna get really good chromatic aberration control, and much like any Sigma lens, you're gonna have really good edge-to-edge sharpness. And so with that, you should not be surprised when I say I really do enjoy the overall image quality of this lens. And so let's go in and talk about the build of this lens. Now, if the constant f1.8 wasn't enough to really love this lens, the other really big selling point for this lens is that all of that zooming is happening internally. Again, this is why I think it's more of the successor to the 18 to 35, because that's what made the 18 to 35 really popular, was one, the constant f1.8 aperture, and the fact that all of the zooming was done in the body of the lens. And so you're not gonna have barrel extension like you would with some other zoom lenses. Much like other art series lenses, this lens does have a plethora of buttons and switches and is weather resistant. The switches you are gonna get is a manual focus and autofocus switch. You are gonna get a focus hold button. I believe just like the 24 to 70 Mark II, you are getting 2 focus hold buttons. And then the other switches deal with the physical aperturing, which I will add, you do get a physical aperturing. This is something we're starting to see more and more on Sigma lenses. And the switches for the aperture ring are determining whether you want the aperture ring clicked or declicked. And then you'll also have a switch that determines whether you want to lock the aperture ring in auto mode or move it over to manually adjust the aperture through the aperture ring. Now, the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this lens, while it is amazing optically and really just gives you everything you might need for a bag of prime lenses wrapped up into one zoom lens, the one downside to this lens is the size of the lens. I'm gonna put somewhere on the screen the overall specifics around the size, but this is a hefty lens. And so while it is a little bit bigger, I do understand why it is the size that it is. And overall, I'm really happy with the construction of this lens. And so let's get into who I think this lens is for. If you're somebody that's looking for just one lens to kind of replace a whole bunch of primes, or you are just looking at a set of primes and these are all the focal lengths that you need and you can get it all in this, I think it's under $1,400 lens, then by all means, that is kind of like a no-brainer audience for this lens. And so if any of those criteria match what you're looking for in a lens, then by all means, I would 100% recommend the Sigma 28 to 45 millimeter f1.8. And so that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. And if you're digging the overall content from the channel, consider subscribing. As always, if you do have any questions, let me know in the comments below or reach out to me on Instagram and we can start a conversation there. Thank you all for joining. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Peace.